Big pillar of the success is family. My mom used to borrow money to pay my school fees. That's really become the foundation of how our business has grown.
Generation gap is a big thing, right? Making this decision, we want to seek opportunities outside. जब सब कुछ घर में, how supportive was your family?
Family was, with God's grace, we've got 5 huge projects in our portfolio. Asset under management of about $100 million in Canada right now, mostly in Toronto. Sarbadda Pala, that everyone around you should also prosper along with you. Man niva mat uchi, whereas that you keep your ego low. But
Welcome to Evolve Podcast. Today I have a great entrepreneur, Dev, and a great friend, and we'll talk about his journey in AIPL, his journey in Canada, how he's living in Canada, his entire experience of building AIPL in Canada, the entire family who's part of AIPL, and the pillars and the strength that the family gives to make what AIPL is today. Welcome, Dev.
thank you.
So Dev, tell me about AIPL. How did it come into existence and what are you doing now with AIPL?
So, AIPL has been in the business of developing real estate since last 34 years now. We started back in 1991 with building Grade A office spaces in Okhla Phase 3, right? We were among the first few developers who were trying to pioneer the Grade A office space. And the idea was to do these fancy office buildings with glass cladding and all of that to attract multinational clients. And basically, for the first decade, we just did Grade A office spaces in Okhla Phase 3, excelled in that space, and that's when we were attracting clients like Rolls-Royce, Bentley, and all these MNCs. And to be honest, when we started, we didn't realize the kind of response we will get for the kind of work we were doing, but the market rewarded that we attracted good tenants and all of that. So we excelled in building those Grade A office spaces, and it went quite well in Okhla Phase 3 to a point where there was a point where majority of the developments in Okhla Phase 3 were happening by AIPL.
Wow.
So that was kind of our adda where we started, right? And then we came to Gurgaon with our first commercial office project on Golf Course Road called the Masterpiece. That was a time when there was not a lot of infrastructure on golf course. There was a master plan around कि ऐसे बननी है road.
How long was this?
This has been about 15, 20 years.
Oh wow, that time there was nothing basically
On
that road. Yeah.
There was nothing. There was a master plan around the infrastructure, underpasses and all of that. But we took a leap of faith कि market बनाई लेंगे, market established हो जाएगी and all of that. But the idea was to do a really good building which truly stands with its name, the Masterpiece. And it was the masterpiece when it was built out, and now it's been redone after 15 years. We've added 6 more floors to the building, and if you ever pass by Golf Course Road, you'll see that building, and it's still one of the masterpieces on that road. Still attracting one of the highest rents, great tenants, all of that. So that was our move to Gurgaon, right? Back in the 2000s, early 2000s. And then, so we started with office spaces, got into shopping malls with a company called Capital Land out of Singapore. It was a joint venture. We started doing shopping malls across. Udaipur was our first project. We acquired land in Nagpur, Jalandhar.
There's the Udaipur, that mall, right?
Udaipur,
That's
the Celebration Mall.
Fabulous mall. It's such a beautiful mall.
Yeah.
I mean, when I went to the mall, I was like, I have never seen a mall like this. That was a vision. That was something else.
Yeah. So we had a great architect who had that a kind of skill. Nimish Patel, who designed Oberoi Udevilas, he was the same architect who did our mall.
That's why.
Because the objective was to build a mall which does not look like a typical mall, and still has that character of Udaipur, Rajasthan, and all of that, and that's what you see in that mall. And then we built that mall together with Capital Land. Capital Land bought it out, took it over, and that's how we got our exit. And then we built shopping malls in Amritsar, Khanna Gobindgarh, all of that. Along that period, we had a joint venture with Ambuja Realty. We did, and there was a joint venture to build townships in Punjab. So the first township we did was called the Dream City under the AIPL Ambuja joint venture in Amritsar. That's where the first Walmart of the country happened. One of the successful townships projects of India.
What was the scale of the township?
250 acres.
Wow.
And then we further expanded it. We kept adding land to it, increasing the size, all of that. And after that, we did a lot of work in Punjab. We did Dream City next. We're doing another Dream City in Amritsar. We're doing Dream City Ludhiana, Dream City Khanna Gobindgarh. So under the same flagship brand Dream City, we continue to work and grow in Punjab, and it's one of the territories or one of the states.
Currently, how many projects are you working on?
So I can tell you in terms of square footage, we have about 5.5 million square feet of real estate under construction right now. We've delivered over 14 million square feet.
Amazing. And this is all combined: retail, commercial, residential.
Correct. And a big part of our portfolio is here in Gurgaon, mostly on the golf course extension road. Grade level retail with offices. Those are kind of projects that we are doing. We have a big project which is under construction called the AIPL Joystick, which is in Sector 88. We've got the Autograph, which is an office building that's under construction. So yeah, there's quite a bit happening in terms of what we're building.
Man. And AIPL has got when I saw the brand, when I saw the company, I was like, oh, this must be started by probably your great grandfather, because the kind of land bank and the kind of, the scale of the projects that are coming in. But when I came to your office today and I saw that it only started in 91, I was like, it's not that old, bro. It's like just 30 years or maybe 35 years.
Yes.
It's not that old. So that means it's actually started by your parents and your probably family.
Yes.
What is the story about that? How did it all come into existence?
So it's an exciting story in the sense I was born in Kashmir, right? And I was born there. I was 3 when I came to Delhi, and before that we went to Patiala, we went to Karnal before coming to Delhi. And the joke on me is that I did 3 nurseries, one in Kashmir, Patiala, Karnal, and then finally Delhi.
Yeah.
Right?
So you were not early to socializing.
Yeah, not because I was not intelligent, because we were moving around a lot, and that's to do with the fact that when I was 3, my father used to get a lot of death threats in Srinagar, that you leave the city, or we'll kill your family
because of the riots.
And all that was going on.
Right.
So, and that's when my dad and my Nanaji side of the family, my mamas, we discussed and we explored the idea of exploring something new together.
But you guys were not, and any of you were not into real estate?
We were never in real estate.
Okay.
My dad had a spare parts shop in Kashmir, a successful one. Yeah. And I still remember, even though I was young, I still remember vividly that he would have a scooter. He would put me in front of the scooter. I would be standing and he would take me to this
Dude,
shop.
That was quite an adventure. I've done that same with my dad, and it used to be a thing. Yaar, aaj main scooter pe jaunga.
Exactly. And you'd be standing in front, right? And riding the scooter. So that was fun. And then we came to we did Patiala, Karnal, and came to Delhi. And the families decided together that we'll do something of our own. Let's give it a shot in Delhi. कि इतना बड़ा दरिया है, कुछ ना कुछ तो निकल ही आएगा. Let's figure it out. So we came to Delhi. We rented a flat, a terrace in Amar Colony. So it was a 2-bedroom plus a kitchen, literally terrace in Amar Colony, where in one room my mama used to be, and in another room my mom, dad, and me used to sleep.
Bro, I have heard so many stories from people coming out of Amar Colony. Even in my family, I think there's something in the soil there that people start their life from Amar Colony and then they, flourish in other parts of Delhi.
All startups should first rent something in Amar Colony.
It's like the Silicon Valley of Delhi.
Silicon Valley of India. So that's what happened. And then, when we came to Delhi, the first few years, of course, were difficult in the sense that we were all trying to figure out what to do, how to do it, and all of that. We started slowly. We started getting our feet wet in real estate. पहली लैंड खरीदी, उसके साथ थोड़ी गाड़ी चलनी शुरू हुई and all of that. But the times were difficult in the sense that my mom used to borrow money to pay my school fees, right? So, and it was difficult, but but she made sure that it was comfortable for us, like any family would. That ठीक है, problem आ रही है, or these are tough times, but there was faith that we'll get through this, and she made sure that we are comfortable. So that way, I had a very nice middle class upbringing, and you talk about that, till grade 10th, I used to get paid 10 rupees every Friday for canteen.
What a life.
What a life.
What a life that was, man.
So the choice was between should I buy a samosa or should I buy a Pepsi? Right? So those were the choices. And after 10th, 11th, 12th, I got 50 rupees every Friday.
Wow.
So, increment मिल रही थी.
पता है, the people who have lived this kind of life, when there's not abundance, you actually value everything, not just money, but everything around you, because तुम्हारे friends भी वो उस level के बने होते हैं because वो 10 रुपए देख के बने हैं.
हाँ, exactly.
So they have seen you on the ground.
Yeah.
So everything that you made at that time sticks with you forever. Forever. I have seen that, and I truly feel कि जो उस समय जो दोस्त बने ना, जब कुछ नहीं था, उस समय जो relationship बनी, उसकी अलग ही value है.
100% यार. And then, it feels like, to be honest, it feels like yesterday that this 10 rupees used to feel like such a treasure, right? To get that 10 rupees or whatever, every week I was allowed to have a Milky Bar, right?
Just change the trajectory of the whole company. Like, वो कौन सा project था जिससे हुआ कि boss, now we are on a different scale. Now everything is changed.
So I don't think I can pinpoint on one project. It was just the journey and how we pivoted. So for example, for the longest time we thought कि we were like the lions of Okhla Phase 3 और यही तो हमारा अड्डा है और यहीं पे we'll continue to excel in this area. So उसके बाद we pivoted towards Gurgaon, right, with this masterpiece project. We then pivoted towards shopping malls. We pivoted towards townships. Then we pivoted towards mixed-use centers, mixed-use developments in Gurgaon. So in each and every stage of our journey, every time we pivoted, that was a big milestone, right? Because we never thought कि we'll do anything except building office spaces, right? We never thought we'd build shopping malls or townships or all of that, because it all started with humble beginnings of let's survive, right? And to be honest, when I hear it from a family, it started with the idea of कि यार एक X rental income बन जाए, उसके बाद हम खुश हैं, and then we're happy, and then at least we don't have to you know uh, kind of necessities के लिए
नहीं फाइट होगी,
necessities के लिए fight नहीं हो, right? That was the idea कि इतने तक पहुंच जाए, and the idea, and we never thought कि with God's grace we'll reach to this level where life will present opportunities to us, and then we'll pivot and we'll climb the ladder, and that's exactly what happened. So there is no specific building or project that we can pinpoint जहाँ पे things really rapidly change for us. It's just pivot in terms of asset classes, opportunities that made the difference.
एंड फिर तुम कनाडा चले गए, यू आर अ सीरियल पिवटर. फिर bro, the thing is that like very successful people do this very often. What they do is कि चलो एक माउंटेन चढ़ लिया, फिर उतर गए उस माउंटेन से, फिर अगले माउंटेन में चढ़ने की तैयारी कर ली.
Right.
And people don't usually do that because they get so comfortable that चलो यार अब we are king of the jungle, so let's just stay here and enjoy this being the king.
Right.
Let's not get into that. And you, everything is going right, you are excelling with your work, and then you thought चलो यार ये सब तो ठीक है, पर अब कनाडा में लाइफ स्टार्ट करते हैं, right?
Right.
How did this bold move come to your mind? Was it a family decision? Was it completely your decision? Why?
Right. So I'll give you I'll give you a precursor to Canada, and the precursor to that is the fact that I did my graduation in Delhi. उसके बाद I worked in the company for a bit, and then I went to Scotland for my MBA. And after that, I wanted to stay in UK and work there. That was the idea, right? I never wanted to come back, but the family insisted कि नहीं तू आजा, you handle the projects here and all of that. मैं UK से आ गया, and I was asked to handle a project in Khanna Gobindgarh, which is a big wheat and a scrap metal market of India.
Where is it?
It's
Delhi
in Punjab.
में? Okay,
It's in Punjab, and वहाँ पे we were building a township and a mall, right? And I was told कि तू ये mall handle कर. It was a shopping center, open air shopping center. You handle, you sell it, you lease it, and you generate revenue out of it. I said ठीक है. I was very enthusiastic. I'll do it and all of that, and so I started working on it. Put together a team. We were working on it, and that, in my career, was a failure. Was a failure in the sense that I felt that was a project कि मैं जितनी उसमें जान लगा रहा हूँ उतना ही वो आगे नहीं बढ़ रहा है. So it was not the issue with me putting efforts in that project or my team putting efforts in that project. I gave my blood, sweat and tears to that project in terms of कि it reaches where it needs to reach, because we did everything right. We constructed the right building, great quality and everything, but the market was not able to accept it or absorb it. So leasing was not happening at the right momentum, and sales were not happening at the right momentum. So it was a big struggle, and a big part of that was due to the fact that the local economy or the market of Khanna Gobindgarh started crashing, and there was a lull period. When I started handling it, and during that phase, I also realized that it was a project which was slightly ahead of its time, and it needs to grow organically, right? So while I was there, I was able to bring Domino's, Moti Mahal, Pizza Hut, and all of that. So there was traction, but not at the level where my presence is justified. Presence of handling it is justified. So, and I then tried to get that project off the ground in terms of leasing and filling it up through multiple channels. Through कि एक बार मैंने सोचा let's do a hospital here, let's convert this to a hospital, let's convert this into a school. I put in a lot of efforts and nothing would stick. So that turned out to be a failure, right?
You felt that it was
a failure, and what was required at that time was to give the project some breathing room for it to grow organically, right? for the tenants to come organically and the sales to happen, all of that, and that's what happened over time. Like the leasing in that center happened at the rate of 5 to 6 shops were getting leased every 6 months, all of that. So when you are when you come from a promoter group, right, your presence and value of your time is also important.
Of course.
Right? And can you channelize your energy somewhere else, which is bigger, more important, all of that. So when I was going through this phase where this Khanna Gobindgarh project was not doing that well, and I felt ki yaar, I need some other challenge in my life where I'm a little more substantial, right? At that point, I started thinking, I took a step back. There was more mind space available to think, what next? What else can I do? And that's where this idea of Canada happened.
Tell me one thing before you go there. Now you look back at that project, right? It's happened with me also. I think it happens with everyone. That what you wish for and what the reality is are two different things.
Yeah.
So now that you look back at it, you think that you were expecting a lot out of that project before time, or you think that it wasn't the right fit at that point in time?
It was both. It was both. I was expecting a lot out of that project, and I felt that I can control everything. Right? I felt कि इसकी तो मैं ऐसे leasing करके कर दूँगा, पूरा sell हो जाएगा in a year, and it's a cakewalk.
Yeah.
And then I have the MBA hat on. मैं तो ऐसी strategies लगाऊँगा यहाँ पे कि you wait and watch. And that's why, और मैंने पूरा effort डाला, मेरी पूरी team ने डाला, and every 3 months we would come up with new strategies to do something unique to get the momentum, but it would not stick. It would not stick, and that's where we felt that there are some projects which just need, like I said, some breathing room, time and space to be absorbed by the market. उस टाइम आप जितने मर्जी efforts डाल लो, even though your intentions are right, your efforts are right.
Some things takes time.
Some
it
things
won't
take
go
time.
just because you want it to, doesn't mean it'll happen.
Exactly. So, but while it was a failure in the sense that I could not accomplish what I thought I would, but it was a big
reality check.
It was a reality check. It kind of ingrained that humility in me.
Makes you humble. Yeah?
Makes you humble. Ki even though you've planned for something which needs to be successful, doesn't mean it will be, but you still continue to march forward, put in your best efforts, and then leave it to God.
Yeah.
Right? That's all you can do, right? But unfortunately, we think that we can control everything. All you can control is your efforts, right?
That's it, of course.
So, because I really try to slice and dice it in multiple ways, it would just not stick.
Yeah.
But now I look back, I feel that if that was successful, maybe Canada wouldn't have happened.
Wouldn't have happened, yeah.
Right? Canada wouldn't have happened. So, this gave me a time to, this project gave me some time to think, reflect, and freed up my mind space to think beyond this project and what next, right? And at that point, me and my brother, my cousin, we were looking to either start something new under the AIPL brand name or do real estate, but in a different country from a standpoint of just hedging our risk, diversifying, all of that. So, 2016, we went out, we said, we'll go and study the markets. And Canada was not one of our favorite countries. We looked at, our first stop was London, New York, and then Toronto. We went out for 2 months just to research the markets, see what's happening, what's the real estate scenario like, and all of that. So what we found was, after 2 months, London and New York were very, very transactional. Every time we would go and meet people in London, New York, the real estate community there, they would only be interested in knowing how much money we want to invest. And accordingly, they will talk to you. And they will show you opportunities and open doors for you, right? They're not really interested in who you are and what you want to do. Toronto, Canada was very different in the sense that people who we spoke to there, met, they were really interested in knowing who we are. They were also interested in knowing how much you want to invest, but they were interested in knowing where we want to go. And they would make connections for us accordingly.
You know,
there was a lot of warmth.
This is a good point. You know, what I also feel and what I've heard from people internationally, that Indians don't value time and they're all up for meetings. और करेंगे कुछ नहीं, मीटिंग करने के लिए सब enthusiastic रहेंगे. Do you feel the same way?
मीटिंग के लिए enthusiastic
मीटिंग के लिए 4 मीटिंग करा लो, 8 मीटिंग करा लो, they'll give all the time. They don't value their own time and the other person's time. इसीलिए मैंने ही देखा, because स्विट्जरलैंड में I was helping some real estate companies. वो कहते हैं यार इंडियन जो है ना, वो आ जाते हैं, बड़ी बड़ी बातें करते हैं और फिर चले जाते हैं, और फिर फ़ोन भी नहीं उठाते, फिर ईमेल का रिप्लाई भी नहीं करते. So there is a reputation problem also with Indians somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, look at it. I mean, when I'm in India and Delhi, I struggle with the fact कि एक meeting 2-3 घंटे चलती है, and which I feel you can accomplish the same thing within 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. So I agree that they don't value time, but it's also a cultural thing. Right.
That's
it's
true.
Also a cultural thing कि ठीक है, if they want to sit for 2.5 hours, then
पहले चाय पियेंगे, फिर 15-20 मिनट इधर-उधर की बातें करेंगे, फिर मुद्दे पे आएंगे बहुत बाद में.
और मुद्दा 10 मिनट का ही होता है.
10 मिनट का होता है. अच्छा, tell me one thing, like you worked successfully in Delhi, India. You now working, doing multiple projects in Canada. What is the skill that you think that you have the advantage that you learnt in Delhi, which people don't have in Canada, and you're able to apply there? And same goes, what you learnt in Canada in all these years in real estate market, and what you think people are not doing and you're applying here.
Right. So I can tell you from the perspective, because I went from India to Canada, I could probably answer the question, what I applied there, right? So what I applied from here in Canada is a very general thing. Resilience ho gayi, and at that point, when you're moving from your own country to a new country, there is that zeal of, ki you have to work very, very hard to establish yourself. And for me, it was, for us, it was not, we didn't go to Canada from the perspective of survival, or we needed it. It was a choice that we wanted to explore a new dimension, a new domain under the AIPL brand, and that's why.
And probably you wanted to run it with your own culture and with your own vibe.
Right, exactly. So we went from that perspective, and like I said, Canada kind of accepted us with open arms, and they made connections for us, opened doors for us. And for the first 2 years, all we did was networking. Met, went to conferences, met people, and that's how we sourced our first deal, which was an off-market transaction. And it was interesting that our first transaction was in downtown Toronto. These were 2 multifamily buildings that we bought, and we paid $100,000 in deposit, right? And because it was an off-market transaction, the moment we put a deposit, the market came to know that these buildings are getting sold. The next day, we had an offer of $1 million to walk away.
Wow!
Because there was juice in that opportunity, and if it was to hit the market, it would have gone at a higher price than what we paid for. Right? So you can calculate the returns. You've put $100,000 yesterday, and
That's
tomorrow
crazy.
you have $1 million to walk away.
And it is
But-
all because these 2 years you were deeply researching and meeting the right people that gave you this opportunity.
Correct.
You were patient about things, right?
Right. So that was a big deal, and then the obvious choice is $1 million low and just do some other project.
Yeah.
But that is where we thought, nahi, because we're here for the long term, if we don't close on this deal, the market's going to look at us as a fly-by-night operator.
True.
कि ये आते हैं, इनको पैसा जहाँ मिला ये निकल गए. The idea was not that. The idea was to take this deal to closing and complete the deal, and that's what we did. We closed on that deal, and so what we took away from India to Canada were our values. Right?
That's true.
Values of sticking to
You didn't
your
just look
commitments.
for like short-term bucks and then move on.
Right.
You were not trading there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And stick to your commitments. If you made a commitment to an owner of a property that you will close on it, you close on it, and बाकी जितना पैसा आपने कमाना है आपके जो मुकद्दर में है,
Of course.
वो आप कमाओगे. And then of course that's one part of it, and there needs to be also a business case.
No, of course.
And after that, even though we left $1 million on that table, we closed on that deal, and we made 4 times our money on that specific deal. And it was an interesting deal, and our first deal. And because it was just the two of us, me and my brother, we would do everything ourselves. We were very, very hands-on to a point कि उस बिल्डिंग में कोई कबर्ड भी टूट जाता था, just to save on money, on expenses, we would go and fix the cupboard ourselves.
Lovely.
We would do that, and so that
things
are
see,
managed.
Here it's a family-owned business, right? So even the success is for everyone. There you're completely accountable, just 2 of you. Are completely accountable for the every inch of success that you get. So वो भी एक बहुत बड़ी motivation है, right? कि यार ये हमने बनाया है और अब इसमें जो भी है ना, मतलब जो भी करना करे, we'll do it ourselves.
Yeah.
So that probably is also driving you to do more.
100%.
Because you know that अब जो भी कनाडा में है, you are responsible. You both have spearheaded it. So
absolutely,
it's a big motivation, right?
It is. Yeah, responsibility is a big motivation, and you are answerable to your elders, and you're answerable to yourself, right? Because time and again, especially the first 2 years when we were networking, researching, and all of that, time and again the family would be like, "Why do you have to do it?" Right? Everything's nice and established in India. We need you, come back. Why do you have to do it? And at that point, towards the end of it, we were also like, कि हम कर भी क्यों रहे हैं, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have, because like I said, it was not out of choice. It was not out of, it was not out of necessity, it was out of choice.
Yeah, because you have everything here and it's easier to get projects for you here because you already have a name. Transactions are easier, you don't have to make a name, it's already built. वहाँ जाके you'll say, oh AIPL, people will be like, अच्छा ये क्या है, जरा website देखते हैं इनकी.
हाँ, exactly.
उनको पता ही कुछ नहीं है.
And at that point, even though, AIPL is a decent brand in India, for them,
of course, for them it's no one. It's like some Canadian brand, some big billion-dollar company comes to India and says, अच्छा, I'm XYZ. I'm like, I don't know who they are. Let me see the website.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was definitely one aspect of it. But Canada में ये एक चीज़ अच्छी थी कि that people were really interested in knowing us, knowing our pedigree, knowing about AIPL. It was just a different culture that way. That people are really interested in you and they want to talk to you, want to know you, not because the amount of money you have in your pocket, just because that's who they are. They are warm people who want to really know you, help you wherever possible.
Tell me something, like a person going from India, let's say he comes from a real estate background, no matter he's small, big, whatever, Do you think it's easy to make a name for yourself if you're principally disciplined, good hard worker? Do you think it's easier to work and make a name for yourself in Canada, or it's as long as you'll take in India?
No, I think it's easier if you can go past the first few years where you've worked hard. See, first few years are difficult, right? There are teething issues, and it takes time to get to a point of stability where you have a house, a roof over your head, a decent job, and all of that. But once you get that momentum going, you've got a good credit score, you're doing everything right, then there are opportunities out there that will knock your door.
Which probably won't in India.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to give you an example, I have a friend who moved to Canada a few years ago, right? He landed a great job in finance, earning in 5 figures and all of that. 5 years into this, or 3 years into this, he started also buying and selling real estate. He started doing fixer-upper. He would buy existing rundown houses and flip it, work on it, flip it, and all of that. And just in the last 4 or 5 years, he's made a portfolio of $4 million.
Amazing.
Right.
That's incredible.
And
working and flipping at the same time.
Working and flipping at the same time. Right. So they definitely reward you for the hard work.
I think the market is more structured, more regulated. So if someone really puts in the work, they do get a return. India में तो ये ना यार कि तुमने कुछ किया, लोग पैसे खा गए, कुछ हो गया, टाइम से नहीं दिए पैसे, कुछ हो गया, तो बेचारा हार्ड वर्कर यहाँ पे दिल्ली में, इंडिया में प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हार्ड वर्क ही इनफ नहीं है. तुम्हारी किस्मत भी अच्छी होनी चाहिए, that you get the right investors, you have the right buyers. ये नहीं कि खरीद लिया बाकी पैसे नहीं दे रहे. There are so many other things.
I agree.
In India,
very structured.
Yeah. So वहाँ पे ये है कि तुम if you put in 18 hours, you will get paid for 18 hours.
Absolutely, because the quality of work that you're doing is very different. It's structured, and the financing that's available there, and the financing that makes a huge difference. Sometimes, you make money on financial engineering more than what you would make on a project.
Right.
If you would just at a standalone project level, you may not make that kind of money, but just because of the cost of capital and the way you financial engineered the project, you make money. There are a lot of arbitrage opportunities there, which are very, very black and white. You, me, anyone can do it. You just need to put in the hard work, put in the time, and you'll get there.
Yeah, a well-rounded research is what you require, and then you can be there.
Absolutely.
Now that you have a family there, now you have a child.
Yeah.
When you went in 2016, you went to Canada,
2016,
right? Yeah. The philosophy that you had in your mind, that you want to grow, how you want to live, what kind of lifestyle you want to have, and now that you have a child, do you think your philosophy have changed?
My philosophy, my day-to-day working is the same. I definitely but think about the purpose of life very differently. Is money the only motivator? What's the real purpose of my life? How do I want to inspire my child, motivate my child? What kind of man do I want him to be? I think about all of these things, and because of which I think about the work that I want to do for the next few years. What should that look like, right? And how can I make my work marry the idea of seva, right? That's what I think about, so that inspires my child, right? And I'm doing good, which my child sees, and it inspires him. And it's easier for me to do it because it already flows in my family.
Yeah.
It only the idea of seva is not just a word for us. We kind of
Oh, that's incredible, man. Because you told me that every day you have langar in
Yes.
all your sites.
Yes.
On daily basis.
On a daily basis.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Labor for the labor, you and me can walk in, have langar there, no questions asked, and all our sites have langar every day.
I think when we were sitting and you offered me lunch, I think she was also asking me that langar bhi hai, you can have langar. That was so sweet. I was like, really? I can have it here?
Yeah. So langar that gets made on site to ensure that no one's taking shortcuts with the ingredients or anything. We make sure that langar gets delivered to our office so that we are also having it.
Oh, you're having the same langar?
We're having the same langar.
Wow.
So chefs who are preparing it, they know that they're not only making it for the laborers, but also for us. So they're accountable that way.
That's a great thought, man.
Yeah.
Where do you want to take AIPL in Toronto or in Canada? What's the vision like?
Yeah, with God's grace, we're now at a point, we've got 5 huge projects in our portfolio with a asset under management of about $100 million. That's the portfolio we have in Canada right now, mostly in Toronto. We're now really thinking about our next phase of growth. Do we want to just manage what we have, stabilize it, and be done with it, or do we take it to the next level where that 100 million looks like $1 billion, right? Now, right now I'm at it's interesting that you asked this question, because right now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, let me just manage what I have in Canada right now, and let me focus more on India and the next phase of growth in India, because our AIPL India is growing at a very rapid and a fast phase where the elders are like, now we really need you, right? We really need you, come back. So I'm thinking on those lines that do we want that next big leap in Canada or in India? Because there's a different momentum here, there's a different momentum there. We have a smaller, more leaner team there. Here, the establishment is much bigger, more resources and all of that.
How do you work in 2 time zones, man? How do you do that? And that too, Canada and India.
With a child.
Yeah. How do you do that?
It's not easy, but when you have your owner's hat on, right, you have to do what you have to do, right? You don't have a choice.
I mean, how do you, like, being a director, how do you stay significant? Like, is it like every day you have calls with the top executives, or somebody is reporting you every day? How does it work from India when you're in Canada?
So, because we're a lean team in Canada, right, everything's hands-on, that each and every consultant that we have on board, I am talking to them personally. So, I don't have an employee dealing with my consultants. I deal with my own consultants, my general contractors and all of that, along with, of course, my brother, and we have a local partner there. So we delegate at that level, at the ownership or a promoter level only. So it's very hands-on when it comes to the Canada portfolio, but it's worth it, because it's still your baby, right?
Of course.
You've grown it and you continue to grow it. So
all this Trump madness that's going on, like he wants this tariff on wars is going on, and Canada is like, okay, we don't want to deal with America right now. And do you feel that is happening in Canada at the moment?
It is. People are definitely scared. It's not that anything fundamentally has changed, right? It's just that sentiments are low. where people who have disposable income are not spending at the same rate as they were before that. They're like, okay, let this drama get over, and only then we would take big decisions of buying a home or renovating houses or big purchases, right? So they have their money close to their chest right now, and they're just watching all the madness and the drama that's going on, because no one knows what's going to happen, where he's going to wake up the next morning, which side of the bed he's going to wake up, and do what and say what, right? Because really, I mean, the way I see it is that he's taken this presidency as an entertainment show, right?
Ridiculous.
It's a TV show. Every day there's something new, and because of which, you know,
he's like, gets
Canada
up in the morning, he's like, okay, which market should I stir up today?
Yeah. And he doesn't realize that while he's disturbing his allies and other countries, his own people are not happy with him either, right? He doesn't realize that, you know, if he puts tariffs on other countries, his country, the US, is going to suffer as well, because the average consumer or the average citizen is going to pay that through inflation.
I think he's running the show like a, you know, TV series, that I need a punchline in the morning, then people will, you know, see my episode.
Yeah.
It's like that, you know.
Absolutely.
I don't think these strategies are even well thought of.
Yeah.
Every day you can't think of a new strategy, right? You have to deep dive into it. फिर तुम एक महीने में सोचते हो अच्छा ये करते हैं.
Absolutely.
Not like सुबह उठ के आज इंडिया के साथ ये करना है, आज ग्रीनलैंड को ये बोलते हैं, आज कनाडा को ये You can't, man.
Exactly.
It's not possible.
Absolutely. And you know, I was listening to an economist the other day. He's like, if you take, Trump doesn't know what he's doing with his, or what his end goal is. He's like, if you look at his first term and you plot all the decisions that he took in his first term and try to reach a certain objective or a target, you won't be able to do it. You won't be able to connect the dots. Like, let's say he took 100 decisions. You won't be able to connect कि वो decision पहुंचता कहाँ पर है.
Exactly.
What's the end goal? So he's that abrupt and isolation में decisions लेता है. But that's okay.
Tell me, like a guy who has dreamed to settle in Canada. Okay, let's think about a young guy who wants to settle in Canada and he wants to start a business in Canada. What 3 tips would you like to give him?
Start a business in Canada. First one is to pack your bags and move, right?
Yeah.
Stay put for a couple of years, because first couple of years are very, very tough, right? You're going to question everything, right from the weather to the people to the culture. You'll question everything. So the idea is to stay put. Second is don't work from the mindset of jugaad in Canada. Or in the Western world. The more black and white you are, the better it is for you. Because everything, right from your credit scores or how the institutions look at you, will be from the perspective of how clean you are, right? And the third is just stay at it. You know, once you've got, and of course you need to be ambitious to do it. Some people are just happy with moving to Canada, having a stable job, and be okay with it, right? Move to Canada, have a stable job, and think big, right? In terms of what are the arbitrage opportunities available, whether it's real estate, whether it's franchise or new startups, buying a business, turning it around, all of that. So, but that again comes with time, and when you're there, and when you worked in that country or a city for a few years, only then. And you also have the vision and ambition to grow big, right? Some people are like, कि ठीक है मेरा 9 to 5 है, इतनी छुट्टियाँ मिलती है, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it, right? And some people are like, this is not enough. Where is the next arbitrage?
No, I mean, I think that kind of people really succeed in life, who are always looking for what's next.
Yeah.
Right?
Stay relentless.
Yeah. So, last question. When you Okay, something happened there. Okay, when you are there now and you've been living there, do you have somewhere you have still this dream that someday you'll probably want to come back to India?
Yeah, I'm thinking. So, dream. Uh, so it's very subjective that way. I've been thinking a lot about it lately, especially after having a child. Right. I think from the perspective of just purpose, from the perspective of purpose, that's the umbrella. And then I think about when I see that equation between my child and his grandparents, my mother and father, that equation, the growth happening here, and all of that, then you know it makes you question a lot of things. Although you have a great quality of life there, you've got a, uh, a good empire there, and you're doing well, but things have changed from this perspective because you see life from a different lens. Not
Right.
now, it's not just about you; it's about your child, the legacy you want to leave, the inspiration.
And the values your child will get, right? Because when they stay with, because I remember when you spend time with your grandparents, your upbringing is very different.
Very different.
When you're like an independent child living in a different city, your upbringing is very different. You become like this, this Canadian desi.
Yeah.
It's a different character
Yeah,
altogether.
absolutely, absolutely.
So that is quite a choice, I guess, to make, and very confusing choice because
Yeah.
some things are great there, some things are great here, and what to choose and how to choose is
Correct.
quite a.
It is difficult, but the good thing. So it's I see it as a lot of work in terms of managing two time zones. The responsibilities that I have here, and the responsibilities that I have there, right? So it's challenging, but when I see that equation between my child and his grandparents,
just
I
melts
just feel
you.
it's worth it.
That just melts you.
That
हाँ, कि
melts you.
मतलब सोच सकते हैं वापस आने
हाँ
का.
सोच सकते हैं और जो भी काम कर रहे हो it's worth it.
Yeah.
जो भी the extra hours you're putting in, it's worth it. Uh, and and also because a big the culture there is a big part of the culture there is कि meetings happen online. That really helps. So I'm not really disconnected from work really.
Right.
So I'm still having my virtual calls, having meetings, and things are moving. So I'm not feeling that by sitting here, I'm not able to manage things there. So thankfully after COVID, there has been this paradigm shift in terms of people are getting used to working virtually, and meetings are happening, work's actually getting done. So that's where it's really helping me.
Yeah. You know what I really like about you is that being part of AIPL here, such a monstrous organization, and then going to Canada and building something of your own there, and again making it really big. Of course, you'll make it even bigger. You're still very grounded, and you understand values, and you want to be close to your people.
Yeah.
Otherwise
I
I've
do.
seen people that they want to be an individual and they want to, have their own character and they want to stay away from what they've come for. They like to detach. But it's a great quality to have, which I
Right.
don't see in a lot of people.
Right. So in my mind, I am still that middle class guy who sees that 10 rupees as a treasure, right? Every Friday, that 10 rupees that I used to get for canteen as canteen money, that still, when I reflect on it, it's a big deal.
लगता है कहाँ से आए हैं यार अब, है
यार
ना?
कहाँ से आए हैं? And then I'm still that guy living in Amar Colony, playing gully cricket, flying kites.
We should play gully cricket, man, someday. We
Yeah.
should actually make a plan.
Yeah, let's
It's
do
been a
it.
while.
Let's do
थोड़ा
it.
सा आम
अमर
वाम
कॉलोनी में खेलते हैं.
अमर कॉलोनी में खेलते हैं, मजा आएगा वैसे.
Let's do it.
Dev, tell me, generation gap is a big thing, right? And सबकी अपनी अपनी सोच होती है. सबकी सोच अच्छी होती है, intentions are right, but it can be in all directions.
Right.
In your family, how supportive the family was in you and your brother making this decision कि हमें बाहर जाना है, या we want to seek opportunities outside, जब सब कुछ घर में है. So how supportive was your family?
Your family was very, very supportive. And now that you've touched on on family, I can also tell you that a big part of our business success is family. Big pillar of the success is family. And it starts from the first generation in terms of how they have worked together, lived together. That's really become the foundation of how our business has grown. Our relationships, the foundation of a relationship and how they're interwoven has led to a successful business and not the other way around. And that's why, and that's what you see, and because you've seen that in the first generation in terms of the relationship between my nanajis, my mamas, my dad, and how they work together to grow this business, that same thing has trickled down to the second generation, where now the cousins are working together, and we're not motivated by money as much as we are motivated by a strong, healthy relationship. We all respect each other, and that I feel is one of the biggest pillar of our success or strengths, which has led to a flourishing business. Right?
Tell me, like, it's very rare, like Nana and father and mama working together, because they're two different families, right?
It is.
मतलब ये तो सुना है कि ताऊ जी and ताऊ and chacha and
Yeah.
How does that happen? And I'm sure it brings a lot of value to the entire family.
Yeah. So it's interesting, Masi, I think about this as well, even though I'm part of the family. And what I've realized is that no one's in our family, the first generation, obviously, no one has been motivated by money as much as they are motivated by having a strong relationship. There's just respect for each other.
Give me an example, like how do you guys all, what kind of efforts do you make to stay together? How does it happen? Are there some habits or there things you guys do like frequently, some events, or how do you all stay together?
So we try to meet as a family, like my family and my immediate family. Of course, we're working together, and besides that, we try to meet every 10 days, 15 days for a dinner, for a meal. We get together, and then for the longest time, as I was growing up, we used to travel together. We used to travel
whole
together.
family.
The whole family.
So that's the secret, basically.
Yeah. So 12, 13 of us, we would travel together, and so that
that got you closer. That's the secret of traveling together.
That is the secret of that, and because when you're doing everything together, you don't see that those relationships from the perspective of mama or nanaji or dad. You're all together.
Yeah.
Right. So they're my elders. They're my dads. Right. I have equal respect for each other. Each one of them. I learn so much from them individually. And that's what because you've seen that at that level, and subconsciously or subconsciously you're observing that growing up, right? And that's the exact same thing. You see that in the second generation. And that's why, me and my brother, who's my cousin, we worked together, we established AIPL Canada, and everything's been great just because, there's respect for each other, the respect for each other's space. And, the idea is that whatever money we make, vand ke chakange, which is basically you share it with each and every one of
Superb, man.
And,
like, I think because you've traveled so much with each other and you spend so much time, there's so much transparency, and you exactly know how the person is, so you know his positives and the negatives. So you guys are also very, you know exactly what to talk and what not to talk and how to talk.
Yeah.
So that also brings things into perspective, right? Like business is easier to do when you know that person well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think uh, a big part of how we conduct ourselves is through the values that were instilled in us by the family. So things around Sikh values which were taught to us by the parents. So man niva mat uchi, whereas that you keep your ego low, but you still continue to work hard, and matuchi, which is you be aware of everything that's going on, stay intelligent, but still keep your ego low, work with that philosophy. Then sarbadda pala, that everyone around you should also prosper along with you. So there are small things that I've picked up myself that I try to incorporate in business and in relationships. So once you kind of just follow one philosophy around Sarbadda Pala, कि यार सबका अच्छा हो, and everything should prosper. Everyone around me should also prosper. Then God is there to take care of you, right?
It's incredible, man. You know, when I was in Toronto and when we met and when I started talking to you and we had some great conversation, I'm like, dude, it's so fun to meet him because it's not just like we have a intellectual conversation, but it's also that I got to learn so much from you, like your values and the real estate business, and you're so open and black and white about things that you can actually learn. Today also when I was sitting, they were setting it up. It was good to understand how AIPL really works. It's the values are in the details, when a person tells you exactly how it happens. So it's so good to hear from you all these things, and I'm always looking forward to have a nice dinner and have some Coke Zero with you.
Likewise, man.
And enjoy that. So superb, man.
Likewise.
It's
thank you.
Great to have you, and we'll probably have another conversation soon on this again.
Sure.
Bro, it was amazing to have you, and thank you for sharing your most inner emotions.
Of course.
And I hope and I wish that everyone who's listening learns a lot and gets inspired from your story, and are probably people who are moving to Canada learn a lot from you. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. This is fun.